Have you ever wanted to become unstoppable and you had no idea how to do it? Whether it's in business or in your personal life, well, we have here an amazing person. Her name is Alannah Dance, and she's a spiritual healer and teacher, author of multiple books. And today she will share how you too can become unstoppable. So, Alannah, please tell us how what are the steps for anyone to become unstoppable in business?
Yes, thank you, Lily. So first of all, the main thing to become unstoppable is trusting yourself and trusting your intuition and knowing the things that are right for you. And to do that, it really takes courage to step out of who you think you are and step into who you really are. And those steps can be a little scary sometimes because we are conditioned, we're told, this is how we should do things, especially in business, right? There are coaches and things that teach things a certain way, almost cookie cutter for everyone. And those things don't work for everyone. We are all designed very differently. We are all unique. So trying to follow linear steps is not necessarily the way to go in all situations. It works for some people, but it doesn't work for others. So trusting and knowing, feeling into the energy of what you're doing will help you know if it's something that you should move forward with or not. So definitely trusting yourself and realizing when something feels not in alignment or you feel resistance to a certain aspect.
Very
The
good.
next thing sorry, go ahead.
No, it's fine. You continue.
I was just going to say, the next thing that I suggest also is working to heal limiting beliefs and seeing within either your childhood or potentially some ancestral patterns in the way of how your ancestors used to live and where you're from and what the cultural beliefs are, to see what could be limiting you within your business as well. And that's really important in an aspect that people don't necessarily understand to look at, because those types of limiting beliefs can really, really hold us back. And those are the ones that are lingering in the back of our head and we don't understand why. We feel like that we're trying to take steps forward and we can't get there and we just don't know why. So working with a practitioner from a healing aspect to find those limiting beliefs and release them in whatever way feels good and works for you will also help you take steps forward in your business too.
Wow, very interesting. So, what would you say is the very first step that someone should take in order to become unstoppable?
Mm-hmm. So the very first step is really figuring out what you want. And again, kind of like I had mentioned earlier, we're told a lot of the times what we want. We're told that we should do this, we're told that we should do that, but really sitting down for yourself to gain the clarity of what you want is really important, because a lot of times when people get asked that question, they are trying to bring in things that other people think that they should do or that other people want them to do. So gaining that clarity on what you want is really important. And there are different ways to do that. You can do that through journaling. You can do that by working with a practitioner to clear some of the blocks or the things that are kind of going on in our minds that are preventing us from really gaining that clarity. You can work through that from an energy healing perspective. So there are different ways to do that. But I really, really suggest kind of sitting down in a quiet place and really writing out what you want and recognizing what you want and what other people want, and really getting clarity on specifically what you want when you're doing that.
Thank you so much. So now imagine that I love dancing. Okay. I love dancing and I love singing, but I don't see myself doing that as a job, for example, right? And let's say I love writing as well. So how should someone who is multi-passionate, how should someone who is multi-passionate find, you can say, the thing they want? Because um as a super creative person, I want so many things. Like I would love to horse ride someday, and I want to dance, and I would love to integrate dance in what I'm doing. but at the same time, I don't see myself as a dancer or a singer. And at the same time, it's like I miss it, like I miss it in my work. And I'm a book publisher, and that has nothing to do with dancing or singing. So the question is, how do you kind of integrate your passions and the things you really want into your existing life? Or how do you maybe do you have to reinvent what you're doing in order to kind of integrate those elements? Or how do you suggest we do once we do know, okay, what our passions are, what we would really want to do?
So first, understanding that your passions don't necessarily have to be exactly what you do for your job. And it's really important to implement and integrate the passions and what really, really lights us up from a hobby perspective, bringing that into our life and actually just doing that for hobbies or doing it on the side or, something maybe small to at least bring it into our life so we're experiencing it is really important, because then that brings us into alignment with who we are and what really, really lights us up as a person. And then as we continue to do those things with our hobbies and our passions, eventually the clarity will come in and the things will come together, and you will probably find ways where, I can actually do this as a job, or I can, help these people in this way using this technique that I absolutely love. And you can potentially, make some money off of that and put it into a career. Also taking a big step back from the big picture in the way that, okay, dancing is very specific, but let me take a step back and see all of the components of dancing that there are, for example, and maybe I could take those pieces and parts and make them into something where I can, put it out to people and help people with. So it doesn't necessarily have to be dancing specifically. It could be, a course on teaching somebody how to find the music that they love to dance to bring in good energy into their day, or to help them wake up in the morning and start their morning routine and different things like that. So there are a lot of different aspects that you could kind of look at. And when I'm looking for clarity around things like that, I really tune into myself and kind of go internal and a little meditation or what have you, and bring in the divine energy that I use and ask to be shown signs and signals for what I need to understand to bring that into my life. And again, if we're doing those things and the things that really, really, really light us up, if we're doing them even just as a hobby, they will eventually start to come into our life if that is what we're supposed to be doing for our life's purpose. It will start to integrate into that. And also from a business perspective, really, really making sure that what you are doing day to day lights you up and makes you feel purposeful and fulfilled. And if you're not feeling that potentially in your current job, for our listeners out there, then maybe it's time to take a step back and see what you want.
Very good. I think one important question is, I would think that most people around the world are actually, they have this inability to really look at their current work and to be happy at it, regardless of what they're doing. And I think the reason for that is because they're not really doing what you can say their soul is telling them to do. They're doing a lot of times what their mother liked or their parents liked, or, they became a doctor or they became an accountant, whatever, because that was the business that their parents were doing, or the business was passed on and they felt like they had no choice, and now they're making so much money. Like, how are they going to become, I don't know, a painter or a dancer or whatever that they really want to do? And I think the problem is that even when you're in that situation where you feel like you have no choice, I think you still have some opportunities where you can be more aligned with what you're doing by just learning to be happier, by learning to kind of take more gratitude and feel happier at your current job. Would you agree this is a good strategy to kind of learn to look to reframe what you're currently doing? Or would you say, no, forget about that? Would you say that it's better to just take time for yourself and just kind of analyze what you really want to do, and just completely start what you're doing from scratch?
Mhm. I think it really depends on the person. And I personally think that we all have choices. And while those choices can be a little difficult in the way that maybe our family may get upset if we go out of the family business, or for me personally, I spent a lot of money on college. I have 2 master's degrees and all of the things that I needed to do to advance my career. I was originally from the information technology project management realm is where I started, and I had all of my degrees in that. So when I shifted, I really felt like I had wasted all of that. But now that I have really received clarity and really gone in to figure out what I want to do, all of those pieces have come together, and I'm actually using all of my degrees just in a different capacity. So I think there's always a choice and always an option, but again, doing what feels good to you, and really, really trying not to do what other people want. Because when we're doing what other people want, it's really, really difficult to be happy in life. And our goal here as humans is to be happy. That's the purpose. So I think feeling into it and figuring out, okay, is there something that if stepping into gratitude and maybe shifting what I'm doing a little bit will make me happier and get me, to that fulfilled and purposeful place, then absolutely do it. But if needing to make a complete career change is something that needs to happen, like it was for me, doing it in a purposeful way is really important to make sure that you are not just completely uplifting your life and potentially making matters worse. Is important too. So really trusting and asking for that clarity to come through, even if you don't know who you're asking, but just ask for that clarity to come through and what you need to do.
Very good. I like what you said. Now, one thing I've noticed is that for my personal life is that when I love what I'm doing, everything flows. It's a bit like I'm going, downhill on a snow slope, and it's like fast. I'm like, everything is happening fast, everything is flowing, I'm meeting the right people. I know the computer is working, like everything, it's like I'm unstoppable and things are easy and everything is flowing and I'm making money and I'm happy and I'm, bouncing to work, or, if I work from home, I'm bouncing at home, in my kitchen. And I find that the opposite is also true. When I have some tasks that I dislike, what happens is that it's hard. Like I need to kind of like get up 100 times and I need the help of 100 people. And it's just like, so, like I'm dragging my feet. And I think that's how a lot of people try to do business. They work really hard thinking that, they just have to do certain tasks that they dislike. And because that's how it is, because that's what people do. And you have to work hard and you have to, work on tasks you don't want to do and things like that. Now, do you agree that we should work on tasks that we dislike just because we have to be responsible? Or do you think it's a better idea to look for people who can do those kind of tasks that we dislike so we can focus all of our energy on tasks mostly that we love?
Yes. So I personally think that we need to get rid of the tasks or give somebody else the tasks that we don't love, because, and this is personally what I do in my business, is I help people with the tasks that they don't like to do. I help them implement their technology systems and build that and become in energetic alignment with their business, because I'm taking off that frustration from them. And if you are working with tasks that you don't like, you are putting that energy into your business, and unconsciously people can feel that. So it is kind of a repelling energy that we're putting into our business, even though we don't realize it, the clients don't realize it, but it's just, there's a little bit of resistance there. So by hiring somebody that loves to do those tasks and that is putting good energy into them and helping you with that to get you back to where you want to be, will actually build more success and make you more unstoppable in business, because you're not putting that frustration and that overwhelm and that anger into your business. And it's really important to understand that if we do bring in the people that can help us, and that allows us to spend time on other things that we love to do, you will be making more money that will allow you to pay for that person. Because I think that's what stops a lot of people. They're like, I can't afford to have an assistant, or I can't afford to have somebody do this. And while that may be true in that moment, it will pay off in the end, because the energy of the business is going to change. And it may not happen overnight, but eventually you will see that energy change, because it will be a much, much more positive flow going into the business. And you will feel in flow. You'll have those good days where you're just excited to wake up and excited to do what you want to do. And that will happen much, much more often, because you don't have to worry about all the stuff that you don't want to do.
Thank you. And what about if, let's say, people are just starting out and then they feel like they don't have enough money to hire, like a lot of people to do those tasks that need to be done? What should a business owner do?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, some of those tasks you can find people to do for not very much, and you don't have to hire 6 full-time people to do different things. They have different options out there now where you can hire people at lower costs to help you with those things. There are also a lot of different applications and things available now that automate a lot of things. If you put in a little bit of upfront work, it will automate a lot of things for your business, which also helps. And really just taking a step back and looking, okay, what's not working in my business? What is working? Where am I putting money? And how can I shift that around will help to ease the discomfort of, I'm just starting. I don't think I can afford that, because you're really having a good understanding of what money you're spending and where, and what you can afford, because it will, again, like I said, pay off after you keep doing it.
And thank you. And how can we get to that kind of like energetic alignment where we feel like, wow, everything is flowing and so on? I'll tell you why I'm asking this question, because I'm noticing that, let's say if you were to ask me now, okay, write what you want. And if I'm in a bad state, like if I'm depressed, or if I'm not feeling great, if I'm ill, or, tired, what happens is my answers are likely to be very bad answers. I'm likely to say, all I want to do is like be by the beach and do next to nothing. Okay. Mm-hmm. But if you were to ask me after I've danced and after I've sung and after I've walked in the park, or, sat in the park for a while, or sat in front of a lake or something and listened to the birds, then I'll come up with a very different answer. Mm-hmm. So the question is, what steps do we need to take to get into that energetic alignment where we're actually giving ourselves the right answers?
Mm-hmm. Yes. So I completely understand where you're coming from. It happens to me too. Just some days I am not good at writing. Some days I am not good at doing specific things. And when I find that it's not working that day, I take a step back and I walk away from that, and I maybe come back to it the next day. But understanding your own energy and knowing and being an awareness of, okay, I am feeling this way today. It's probably not a good day to do these things. I'm going to wait until tomorrow. Of course, if you can, some tasks, some things you need to do that day, and it kind of is what it is. But staying in awareness of your energy and understanding and knowing how to shift your energy, because just because we wake up on the wrong side of the bed that day doesn't mean that we have to spend the entire day in that mood or in that energy. We have the choice to change that. I sometimes go into, I'll go back to bed. I'll go lay back down, and, I'll lay down for 20, 30 minutes, kind of help myself clear my energy by just asking with intention to clear energies that are not mine or that aren't serving me, and bring myself back into alignment with my own energy. I request that, and then I get back up and I start my day over. So I think that that's a good method to use, and knowing that we have a choice of how we are energetically. So getting ourselves into alignment with our own energy and being in awareness and understanding the tasks that we need to do that day are definitely 2 steps, and not trying to push tasks that we don't want to do or that don't need to be done that day. And then also working with a practitioner to understand energy and to understand, okay, I have these limiting beliefs coming up. I'd really like to move past those is a really, really great way to bring yourself back into energetic alignment. And the more that you do that, because it's not a quick fix, it's not an overnight thing, the more that you do that and release the limitations that you have within you, again, like I had mentioned, the ancestral stuff or just limiting beliefs from childhood or what have you, you have many, many more better days. You see that the energy that is kind of weighing you down and giving you the answers that you don't like comes less. And as that comes less, you just shift in such a beautiful way into alignment with your life, the people around you, and your business.
Thank you so much. And what kind of steps can ordinary business people take in order to change their state? So you mentioned a few, but can you give us a few more simple steps that people can use to change their state so they can, have better answers to the question of what do I want, or what's my next step today that will move me forward in my business?
Yes. So I definitely suggest finding a quiet place where you have the time by yourself to think through that, whether it's journaling or just running some things through your own mind. I do definitely suggest having something at least to write with so you can, jot down some thoughts. There are also some techniques that can be used to make better decisions in the way of using kinesiology, muscle testing, things like that, to find if you're unconsciously in alignment with what you're looking at. So that can be a really useful tool that anybody can use and anybody can do, especially if you're having trouble making decisions or you feel like that there's something that's preventing you from moving forward. You can ask yourself questions and muscle test, which will help as well. And let me see, another one would be to, I'm trying to think of a third, like an easy step is to really, I just reach out to somebody that can help you with clarity and help you clear your mind and help you receive those answers that you're really wanting to receive. Because a lot of times people think that they can do it themselves and they can't. They may need help, and that's okay. It's okay to ask for help. And I think that we come from a world where asking for help seems like a weakness, but staying stuck where you're at, that is actually the weakness, because then you're not able to really live the life that you want to live. So asking for help. Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much. And how would it look like to work with you, for example, to help people with their energetic alignment so they can take better decisions and become unstoppable? What kind of steps would your clients go through, for example, to, to become unstoppable and gain more confidence in themselves and their business?
Sure. Yeah. So every client is different, of course. I have clients that come to me for a lot of different things. Some people are starting out in their business and they're trying to receive clarity on how they need to move forward or what their business structure needs to be. And I help them with implementing their business systems to automate their business, which takes off all of those mundane tasks that we were talking about. And then we shift into looking at what their business is doing specifically with the clients that they're targeting, their mission, their why behind why they're doing it is really important, because we all need a why, and not just to make money, but to do our bigger purpose, right? So we look at all of those things, and we also look at the person energetically and look at where they're at in their life. What is in their life that could be preventing them from really moving forward, whether it's physically or energetically, and we look at their energetic alignment to their business. So I have different ways that I actually find that like alignment percentage. And then we look to see what is preventing them from being on 100% alignment with their business, with their clients, with their reason, with their mission, all of those things. And we also look at the energy within the environment, where the business is ran, where the location and the building and all kinds of different things that we kind of put in here to almost like in a kind of like a capsule of that business. Like we kind of keep this bubble of that business and clear anything that is preventing that business from being 100% in alignment with the person, with the clients, with the space, all of that. So it is a pretty in-depth process. again, it changes for everybody. It really depends on where they're at in their business, but bringing in the aspect of automation into the business along with the energy and clearing the space for allowing for their clients to come into them and for them to allow them to come in, because some people are kind of restricted in that way where they're afraid to allow people to come in and they don't really understand why. So there are a lot of different aspects that we look at. It's a pretty in-depth process, but it is very, very reassuring to people, and it brings in a lot of clarity as to how they need to shift themselves energetically and what their limitations are that are coming up, so we can work through those and clear those.
Thank you so much. And I think that you help on, you can say you merge the spiritual help and then with the technical help, right? Because you offer some funnels and some automations for business that can help people have flow in their business in general, right? Like, so that everything flows, like their life flows, their business flows. And because of that, the whole thing just works. And that's what we desire. Am I right in saying that?
Absolutely. Yeah. So the system that I offer is very robust. It can do a lot of different things, and it takes off that frustration and a lot of the resistance that people, especially in the healing and the coaching space, come to, because they're coming in to help people. They're not coming in to deal with all of the systems. And it unfortunately prevents a lot of people from really reaching the success that they want to, because they feel like they can't scale and they can't automate things. So bringing in all of that energy to have that flow, that beautiful flow of things are working, and I'm seeing the leads come in and I'm seeing the numbers increase, is just a really amazing thing.
Okay, perfect. Is there anything that you can offer any of the listeners and watchers of this program, or maybe how they can contact you?
Sure. Yeah. So I am on social media, all the channels of social media pretty much, at Pathway to Freedom 1111. So you can find me there. And then my website is pathwaytofreedom.co. And I have several different offerings in regards to either if you just want the system aspect, I can help you with that, or if you want the energetic alignment, or both. There's all kinds of different combinations, because everybody is very different. And I like to take that into consideration, that everybody is unique. We all have a unique mission, and I don't think cookie cutter is the way to go for a lot of these things. So reach out, and we can work together and come up with a plan on how you can get flow in your life. And exactly like you said, Lily, once things start to line up in your business and in other areas of your life, everything just merges together so beautifully. And one of I think in closing, that I want to remind people that a lot of people don't necessarily understand, and I mentioned this earlier, is that people can feel the energy of your business. And they may not know it, and you may not know it, but when they go to their website, or they go to your website, or they see you on social media, they can feel your energy, and they're either attracted to it or repelled by it. So doing these energetic clearings and bringing yourself into alignment with your business will shift that energy and allow people to be attracted to you, instead of kind of unknowingly and unconsciously pushed away.
Thank you so much for sharing all these amazing tips about becoming unstoppable and confident in business.